Hey everyone, it's Brandy with Brandy Burrow Astrology, back with Ellie Adams from Saturn Season Astrology. Welcome back, Ellie.
Well, thank you for having me back.
Always. So, kind of doing a rerun, but not a rerun today. We're tackling the election, the US November 5th, 2024 election for president. We've done some videos on this a few months ago. I didn't even go back and watch them. So some of this might be rerun. I just wanted to take a fresh new look because I don't know, like I'm still kind of like, I'm not sure where this is going. I've had so many clients and just people out there like messaging me, hey, what do you guys see? Why aren't astrologers talking about this? And I'm like, because
Because
it's
it's a
crazy.
shit show. That's why.
Exactly. And part of me like doesn't want to look. I don't know, I'm kidding. I'm gonna try to just keep this like listen to me. I'm gonna try to just keep this like informative, but I am a little polarizing on this. I'm just admit if you are a Trumplican or you like Trump, you're probably not gonna enjoy the video. I'll try to keep my opinions out, but I have an opinion about that guy. So there's your disclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fellow Gemini, unfortunately. But yeah, so with that being said, so I think we'll start with Biden's chart. We're kind of looking at, okay, right now it's leap day. It's February 29th, 2024. We're about a few days before Super Tuesday, but we pretty much already have the picks of Biden versus Trump.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley still in the race. RFK Jr. is out there somewhere. I hadn't heard much from him except for the Super Bowl ad. Which apparently
Bourbon
went from him.
Supreme.
What's that?
Bourbon Supreme.
Yes. And yeah.
The guy
So
that wears a boot on his head.
there's that. Yes. And that's our picks. So let's look at this. There's some confusing things going on in the charts of Biden, Kamala Harris. So we're kind of going to look at that and see what's up here. So with that being said, let's just dive in. And I think we'll start with Biden, who is currently in office, if you're watching this a few years later. And I want to see what's going on with him on election day, like how the transits are hitting his chart. Okay. Give me a second to center this up. I forgot to do that. How does that look?
Looks good.
Okay, so this is Joe Biden's natal chart, and the outside ring is the transits for election day. I just ran it at midnight just to kind of see where the planets are starting at. And yeah, Ellie, anything stand out to you about his transits on this chart?
Yeah. I mean, it's not on that exact. Let me see. It's well, and I guess it's also a time thing, right? Like, but that ascendant for this time conjunct his natal Chiron stands out.
Yeah. One thing that concerns me here is, and I think we did talk about this a little bit in the last time we did a Joe Biden video, but his chart ruler is Jupiter because he's a Sagittarius rising. So we look at Jupiter in the chart. It's in Cancer in the 8th house. But if you look at the transits, and this starts in May, and Jupiter goes into Gemini, which is in a detriment. Which, we all, depending on our chart rulers, we all go through planets being in detriment, our chart ruler planets being in detriment, and we're just fine. But we do know he's at an older age. His health is more fragile, I think it's safe to say. And Jupiter, which, takes 12 years, right, to make these transits or around the chart, it's in a detriment during this time. It makes me think he's not doing very well.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like there's definitely merit to that for sure.
Now, does that mean he can't hold office? I don't know. Like, but I mean, it just seems like there's a little fragility, maybe weakness with health at the time.
Yeah, it's also let me see. What's it doing to Taurus? So I'm kind of looking at this for like the the first time in a
Yeah.
minute. So
Yeah. See, I was supposed to get Ellie these charts like 8 days ago. And I pulled them
no,
right before we jumped on to record.
no, it's totally cool. I do this thing where when I look at charts, I kind of go, ooh.
Go
I'm like,
ahead. Yes, please study. Please study. It's kind of interesting. You do have the Mars lining up with Pluto. It's still a pretty good gap, but it's still within conjunction.
yeah, that Venus rules his sixth house. Is that Jupiter doing anything? I'm trying to see. It's a little too loose to be quincunx. I
Mhm.
was trying to see if there was anything going on with that.
Jupiter to his natal Venus.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's within 8 degrees. It kind of depends. Where as an astrologer, Ellie, what's your orb on these things?
For quincunx,
Mhm.
maybe like 3. Since I mean, they are quincunx by sign though. I
Yeah.
mean, so you do, I mean, you still have that energy going on, but that's just my opinion on
I
that.
stretch it to usually 5 sometimes if you're just kind of seeing like what's within the gap. But yeah, I mean, it's 8 degrees apart, but still by sign, they're still in the
Not
same
see.
house. Like that's why this how I describe it. Like when there's an opposition or aspect by sign, you're still visiting each other and in the way a little
Yes.
bit, but not like making contact. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at this and I feel like there's something that I'm missing.
I don't
What am
know
I?
though. I was staring at this and I'm like, if some if this person was going to win again or continue a success, I'm not quite seeing what I would want to see unless,
No. Um, there's nothing here that really stands out as boom,
yeah.
no.
Let's
No.
look at his the solar arcs.
Okay.
And so this is a chart where we pull the solar arc progressions against his natal chart. How's that?
That's good. That's good. Um, yeah, that solar arc Chiron is conjunct that Mercury in his natal chart. Now I gotta say, with that going on, it does kind of
Yeah.
it does kind of, and this isn't I mean, this isn't a political this is just an observation. There is perhaps something going on with his mind, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, I, I wonder about that Chiron, that solar arc Chiron doing that to that Mercury
And to
in this.
add to that, the solar arc moon, pretty close conjunction to Jupiter,
Very close. Very, very close.
which there's some sort of, depending on your interpretation, like sometimes like when you get the aspects of Jupiter, there can be some sort of end to suffering or like kind of, I mean, and that can mean many things, if you're president and it's kind of hard to keep
Yeah.
that gig going, this could be like, hey, gonna
Yeah.
piece here, but
especially with, like Jupiter, his chart ruler, but also fourth house for him.
yeah.
Jupiter being
Endings.
the yeah. That's yeah.
It's not what you want to see if this is like the
No.
person you want reelected. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, oh, well, this is all I get. Like this is
Yeah. No,
this is
it's
tough.
not it's not what I want to see. Especially considering what the other option is. It's like, god damn. Like,
Which is, yeah. My gosh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do
um
want to look at Biden's zodiacal releasing. And if you're watching this and you haven't, maybe you don't know about zodiacal releasing, Chris Brennan on the Astrology podcast has an awesome video. It's about a 3 hour long podcast, but I mean, it goes by fast because it's fascinating. But he describes how zodiacal releasing works, what it is, and I totally recommend checking it out because it's just, yeah, for astrology nerds, it's good stuff. Yeah. But this is his chart, and basically, what zodiacal releasing is it's a timing technique. And you can kind of see peak periods, you can see changes, especially in career or like life direction. And it's casted from the lot of spirit. So what we're seeing here, kind of highlighted there, April 19th, 2023, there's an asterisk by it, which indicates a loosing of the bond. When you hit a loosing of the bond in zodiacal releasing, there's some sort of change ups or something happening or brewing to put a stop to what you're doing or to change course. And he's in that right now. He's in that till April 13th of this year, till 2024. So something is, like, I always call it like an underlying energy. Something's happening to stop a continuation of something. Loosing of the bond is usually a one-term president. And interestingly, when Trump was running again in 2020, he had hit a loosing of the bond right before the election, just like this. So in Biden's case, it's like it really kind of points to this absolutely could be a one-term president.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with this, with the other things, and not seeing anything like in transits that's like a knockout, like, yes, I'm inclined to, yeah. Which is very concerning.
Very concerning.
Very, I guess it depends on where you end up, where you stand with that as you're listening to this. But for Brandy and I, that is concerning.
I'm very concerned. Yeah, we got kids. Like, we want to. Yeah. Anyway, I'll try not to get on my soapbox. I said I would try. Okay, so I'm going to go into Vice President Harris, and let's see what's going on with her, because there's something really
I remember
going on.
Hers was interesting. There was interesting shit in the last one. Yeah.
There is, and it's well, we'll just start with her chart with the elections here. With the election transits. Sorry, thank you for bearing with me. I have so many charts to look at that it takes me a second to pull through them. Okay, so here we have, I'm trying to make sure I can see. Yes, so we have Harris's chart with the transits for election day. We got Saturn in the 10th house, which I know Saturn is delays. It can also be like leadership roles too, though, when you get that to career. So I'm kind of like,
Absolutely. And, we've got Saturn in Pisces right now, where it's been, when I think of Saturn and Pisces, I mean, you could go a lot of ways with this, but the first thing I think of are structures dissolving. And, we have had a structure in place where we've had nothing but fucking men running this country.
Yeah. I'm a little over it, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm over it being only men. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I'm not over men being president, but yeah.
No, I know. Yeah. but I do wonder if that being where it is in her chart. I wonder though if she wants it, if she would want it.
And
Like
look
really,
where Jupiter's at. Jupiter is on her ascendant. I mean, it's a 4 degree, but it's pretty much on her ascendant.
it is.
That's a pretty beneficial period usually when you get Jupiter kind of hitting your ascendant there. Yeah. Going back to what you said, you wonder if she wants it. Does that have anything to do with Saturn being on Chiron?
It does. It does. It it does tie into that.
There's something else going on here too. Look at where the moon is at that day, the start of the day.
On this on the south node. Yeah. Yeah.
Something about feminine energy there with some karmic stuff going on. And we got leadership markers like Saturn. We got Jupiter on the ascendant, which I mean, and the ascendant is right on the north node here. So Jupiter's pretty much conjunct the north node too, you know. And so this when I look at this, I'm like, man, I don't see this as someone getting like voted out and having to find a new job. You know?
No, I that's not, yeah, that's not where my mind goes either. Yeah.
And so there's that.
Mhm.
It doesn't stop there. Let's see. Let's look at her solar arcs for election day. Come on. Here we go.
Okay, let me see. I want to say there was something in this before.
We're not
About that.
it's kind of interesting. We're not seeing like tight conjunctions, but God, we're seeing a lot of planets really freaking close, like to
Pluto. Pluto is conjunct Neptune.
Neptune.
Neptune rules her 10th house, or is the modern ruler of her 10th house.
It's in the 6th house of day-to-day work. It's a total job energy here.
Yes,
And
it is.
Pluto, transformation, change.
Yes. Yeah, and you know that does tend to be a hard thing, you know, but is it a good thing or a bad thing? I that it could really go either way, but definitely some kind of transformation of career
And
of
power,
authority.
right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm powerful about it.
absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
And it doesn't stop there. Let's look at her zodiacal releasing.
Okay.
I've been looking at this for, I don't know, 3 years now, and I'm like, something's up here. Something's brewing. Because look at her zodiacal releasing. Right now, she's in a peak period.
Okay.
Peak periods
Okay.
are very beneficial for jobs.
And she will, yeah, and she will still be there. Yeah.
She will still be there during election time. It actually lasts till next year.
What about the little other levels? What are they like? Let me kind of focus on that.
November, really on a level 3 on election day, she'll be in this Capricorn. I'm sorry, I'm trying to highlight one area that won't let me. She'll be in that Capricorn.
Okay.
And then level 4, which is more like kind of daily.
Days.
Yeah. Oh shoot, I'd have to go back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm asking about shit that like.
But you know what? I got my not solar, Astro Gold. I'm on a Mac. I got my Astro Gold up. I can look at it really quickly. All right, let's pull her zodiacal releasing. Okay. So on election day, she'll be in a level 4 peak as well.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
something's going on for her. Now, that does not strike me as someone like, I'm leaving office and I'm done with this, and now I got to figure out what my new plan is.
Yeah, it doesn't. But how does this work with, it is a question of like logistics. Like, how does that work with him not seeming like he's doing fuck all, but yet she's got, I mean, I have some ideas, but I don't know if any of them are.
So I'll tell you what I wondered, when I think it was actually in 2020 on the election, I started looking at all this, and I was like, the first thing that came to my mind, and I don't predict death, I don't predict these things, but I did wonder, is something happening where Biden either can't finish a term, for whatever reason, and by default, she's automatically made president. I that's always been like, I really feel like this might happen.
Yeah, it seems possible.
Yeah, and I mean, from the astrology that we see, it seems more likely than not. Like, astrology is like much easier to look back in hindsight and be like, oh, this is what happened with the planets, and this is what it was saying. But something is really coming together to boost her in her career.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how much I should say. There's a lot of stuff happening that looks like she could be president.
Do you think she is voted in, or is
That's the
or does
question. Does
or
she
is
become president for a few months and then election happens?
or is he somehow elected again and then steps down?
I've always thought that if he knows, I don't know, we're kind of running out of time on this theory, but I've always thought if Biden knew he couldn't either be reelected or if he knew he couldn't serve, that he would step down to make that happen, to kind of like break that ceiling. And
yeah, I could. Yeah,
but I know we're kind of running out of time for this plan to work here. Like if we want to make her president and like, yeah, but there is something happening that's revving up for her.
Yeah, it is.
That's kind of weird because,
you would expect to see it with both.
yes, there's a striking difference between what's happening with their astrology, but between Biden and Harris.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to look at Trump's astrology?
Sure. Why the fuck not?
If I seem excited, I'm not. I'm kidding. Okay. So here's Trump's chart. This is with the election transits. This is what's going on November 5th, 2024. Here's I don't even know if we saw this last time, because like today it kind of like took me off guard. Jupiter right on top of that north node sun.
Yes.
It just seems lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
On his chart ruler.
It does. Yes. It does. It does.
The moon on his south node and moon. I mean, the guy was born on an eclipse.
Yes.
It's interesting. It just seems lucky.
I think this election is going to be weird. Like, I just noticed that election day moon is conjunct the GC. It's going to be weird. This is going to be weird.
I feel like it's not going to be what we think it's going to be. Like, as far as the players and
it's going to be weird. I don't know how that's going to go, but it's going to be strange.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if I have much more to say. I'm seeing, we were kind of looking last time, and I kind of remember us thinking, I don't know if we see what we want to see for like someone winning an election, for like.
Yeah, I remember the stuff in 2020 because we did look at that last time, and those you could see like, or no, not 2020, 2016 what he went.
Mhm.
Those you could see like the markers for. I think it surprised the hell out of him. But
Yeah, I
those
think so
markers,
too.
yeah, I don't kind of like, oh shit. No, I'm gonna do this. Um,
The North Node and Chiron over his ninth house here. Also, it's concerning for me because like this guy really wants to get into office for some of his legal troubles to go away.
mhm.
The guy's in a legal mess with several different cases. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone knows that who's watching, but like it's kind of lining up over that ninth house where you'd see legal stuff and trials and
Yep. Yeah.
I gotta say too, I saw the moon, but Venus is also right there.
It
Um,
is. She
yeah,
is. She is.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I mean, we didn't even talk about Jupiter being retrograde and kind of like going back.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm. There is a yes. There's a yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to look at his solar arcs? Or are you still looking? I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say is anything starting to square his, let me see, his nodes.
So you have
Lands
the
at-
Saturn, it's still within an 8 degree, but Saturn in
okay.
Pisces it's retrograde at the time. So it's going backwards, but it's, depending on your orb there. By sign, it's definitely in a square.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Neptune by about 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Depending on your beliefs, but when we look at astrology, for me, like that north and south node, there's so much about karmic stuff or past life or, like some kind of balancing. The guy definitely has something karmic going on, with the US because it's just weird.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I want to say what I want to say.
I think you should
Not
just say it. I think you should
It's
just
not
say
really, it's not, I'm not trying to censor. I'm trying to figure out how I actually want to word this.
it. Okay.
Like, there is something about that Saturn, and it is looser, but it's there.
Mhm.
That makes me feel like he is playing the role he's supposed to play in this moment. Why? Don't know. But there's something about it, like which is annoying,
Mhm.
mind you. It's annoying. It annoys me to even
It
think
feels
that.
unfair.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does, because everybody else has to deal with it. But there is a yeah.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
That's annoying for me to even think or say, though, just to be clear.
I understand. I understand. Let's see what's going on with his solar arcs. I want to say we approached this in the last video, but I don't remember. So let's do it again. Let's refresh our memories here. So Trump's chart with the solar arcs for November 5th, 2024.
Yes.
We got that Neptune right on the south node.
Yes, we do. It's right there.
It's right there. Definitely brings some cloudiness to it. But Neptune rules like the 12th house of unseen stuff that's hidden from us, right? Like,
Yes. And also the things that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a 12th house sun, so I'm not going to talk to, there are good things about it, but it can certainly be a place where we are in bondage and it almost kind of feels like here, I don't know, there's a sense, I don't know, that South Node involvement also being something that we need to kind of learn how to balance, if not totally move away from in some charts.
yeah.
This kind of feels like he might be keeping himself in some kind of bondage here.
Right.
Bit.
Because, like the whole idea of the North Node is like karmic direction. It's that awkward getting out of your comfort zone, getting away from the familiar, getting away from what you're used to. Is he staying in the familiar and in the,
which what does that mean though for everybody else?
yeah, exactly.
What the fuck does that mean for everybody else?
Yeah. Do we want to look at his zodiacal releasing?
Yeah. But I mean, like, even in his chart though, like, yeah, there are perhaps more things than in like Biden's, but
still not a home run.
Still, yeah, exactly. Still not like a knockout.
The Jupiter concerns me on the note. But yeah, something's not like, oh, I'm running and everyone loves me and I got elected and this is powerful and
yeah.
Yeah, something's off about it still.
Yes.
Because this guy just running is beneficial for him.
Yes.
Getting the campaign money, yes, putting his name out there. He can, like, if he loses, he still has that following and there's so much marketing to it and just financial advantage to him. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win, but it definitely benefits him.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
So this is a zodiacal releasing. We can see December 28th, 2017, he hit a loosing of the bond that lasted till March 2020. It ended before the 2020 election, just like Biden's will. But it's still like a one term. At least, I mean, we see that, we know it's going to break up the, having yeah. Where he's at right now, November 21st, which is about exactly 2 weeks.
Something like that.
No, 2 weeks, 2 days, whatever. A couple weeks after the election, hits a peak period.
Okay.
He may not be, I mean, he definitely would be in it in Inauguration Day.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking at, and we'll look at just what's going on Election Day. We don't have what we had last time with the whole Mercury retrograde. I'm trying to remember, it had some aspect to Saturn, didn't it? Like there was something about slowing things up.
I think so.
Maybe not. I don't remember, but there was a couple things going on. I know the Mercury retrograde was going on, and that's always a shit show for elections. Bush and Gore, that 2000 election fell under a retrograde.
With the Chads, the hanging
Chads. So yeah, he's going to be hitting a peak period by the end of the year. So something.
Yeah, but like you said, anything with this can only really help him.
It could, even if he loses, because look what happened last time he fucking lost. He still had people revved up, sending him money.
Yeah.
Grandma sending him $5, like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I told you, if you are a Trump fan, you're not gonna like this show. But yeah, so there's something that still benefits him no matter what. I do have the USA's chart with what's going on, or were you gonna have that on yours?
I'll do the solar arcs, and I'll take a look at even if you pull transits, I could still
Okay,
pull
we'll just
transits.
quickly look at the transits. Now, that's one thing to mention. Go to Ellie's channel. There's another part to this where we're going to look at the other players in the election.
The other player.
The other players. What's going on with them? So this is the USA with just transits of election day. We're
Yeah.
Pluto return.
Yep.
The last one, because this is Pluto's last retrograde at that degree and sign.
God damn, look at Chiron to Chiron. Fuck.
Chiron and Chiron return. Because think about it, no matter who wins, there's going to be people upset.
Yeah, this is very true. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's yeah.
Now, just like Biden, the USA is a Sagittarius rising, and we got Jupiter in detriment. So definitely some changes within the country that, I guess, depending on your view, are at least challenging.
And with it conjunct that Mars, the US is Mars. Mars ruling the US is 12th and 5th. This just feels really volatile.
Yeah.
This feels very volatile. Jupiter expanding on that, I realize it is a detriment in Gemini, but still I don't I don't know.
Still, yeah.
I'm not it doesn't feel like it tones it down here.
Nope. I actually want to look at something here. I'm sorry, you guys are gonna have to bear with me because this is like non-planned. I'm going to bring up the nation's chart. I'm actually going to bring it up on my software to see something. I'm going to bring it up, the nation's chart on my software here so that we can roll through something. Years ago, I made like a database of information that like anytime a president either stepped down, which I guess is just Nixon, or, left office, died in office, assassinations, you get the idea. Anytime a president couldn't fulfill a term, there was always some aspects going on with Mars and Uranus between the US's natal chart and transits. There's always something going on. So I'm actually kind of curious what's going on this year with Mars and Uranus in the chart. So let's kind of play where we play with the transits.
We do. I mean, we know that next year Uranus enters Gemini for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It'll then retrograde back and enter fully in 26, but that is very concerning to me. That period of time. Very
months here.
Not trying to be like fear mongering or whatever, but they're that particular.
Yeah, so in the US's chart, you got Mars and Uranus both in Gemini. Yeah, just to kind of pull everyone back to where it's at. Here's a period to kind of look for is what, Biden's ending his zodiacal releasing in April. We're getting this Mars square Mars going on right around that time with, same thing with Uranus too. Now we've had transits like this happen and nothing happens to the president, but we just know like there's something weird in Biden's chart. We're in Pluto return. Like Kamala Harris is coming up here in some way, and we're getting the Mars squaring the Mars and Uranus going on.
Yeah.
I would really, kind of put that out there, like, beginning of April, maybe even to like maybe end of March through April, kind of a period to look for, like what's happening in the US at that time.
April's also a very violent month for us historically.
Yes. And Biden's ending the loosing of the bond. You know, there's all these things going on. Something, I'm not saying something will happen, but this is a part of the calendar I'm going to be watching.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if I want to put a bow on everything we talked about. I question whether Biden can finish the term for whatever reason. I am definitely not ruling out Kamala having some sort of success, even if it's by default or what have you. Trump's going to be making money no matter what.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And, you know, can you go back to Kamala's again?
Sure. Which one? The election or
Transits?
what was that?
The transits.
The transits. You got it. Let me find it here. Okay, let me share it. I just got to find it because I have so many things. There we go. It's with the election. There we go.
Okay, so she'll also have that Jupiter North Node thing going on. Okay, that's what I was trying to remember if that was the case. Okay, Trump's is tighter though.
Trump's is tighter.
But she has it too. So it almost feels like to me with those, it's almost like no matter what happens, I do think not that she's not going to benefit in the same way, obviously, if you know what I mean, like, but it almost
seems
like
hers is like a first house thing. There's some kind of benefit in who she is, like in her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
It's interesting. So I'm not ruling out something like that happening for her. I'm not, I can't really say it will, because like I said, it's always easier to look back, but I am extremely interested in what's going to happen. Like something's brewing for her.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Absolutely. Well, Ellie, by the way, if you guys like this video, give it a like, subscribe, let me know so I can know whether to do more. But Ellie, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Saturn Season Astrology, on Instagram at Saturn Season Astrology, at my website, saturnseason.com. I think those are the main ones.
And we'll link your stuff in the description, so yes, you guys can find Ellie very easily and hop on to Ellie's channel.
And where can you be found, Brandy?
Oh, I can be found at brandyburrowastrology.com. I mean, believe it or not, I'm a spiritual coach, even though I don't talk nicely about Trump. But no, I do help clients with readings using tarot astrology to better their lives and have positive results. So you can find me over there. Okay, well, hop on over to Ellie's channel where we'll continue the discussion. Should we give them a sneak peek about who we're looking at?
We'll look at the others. We're looking at the others. We'll be looking at.
Yeah, go over there. You want to see who we're talking about.
Unfortunately, I didn't pull Vermin Supreme's chart for this. I should have. I don't even know if he has a natal chart.
There goes half our viewers.
But yeah, the other
players. All right.
Which may or may not really matter because, yeah, but
we'll see if it matters, right? We'll see what's going on. All right. Well, we'll see you guys over there. Thanks so much.